Hello! I'm so very excited for this video. I want to talk about the show Bridgerton. I got all dolled up, inspired by that era, that beautiful period in time with the fashion and the style. So I did that. I put on a dress just for review. I just now finished the very last episode in the very latest season. And I also just finished picking my face. I do that when I'm stressed and there's a lot going on, so I'm stress picking again. So if you see that, that's me just picking my face because I'm stressed. Anyway, so I have some notes that I've been adding to the last little bit. So, I started the show in March. Today when I'm filming this video, we are at May 22nd. So it's been a couple months, almost a few months, and I feel like for not having watched it so avidly, like skipping days, not binge watching, I feel like I got a good dose of Bridgerton. You know, like I didn't rush through it. I didn't take forever to watch it at the same time. Like it was very tastefully watched. I think where I was always wanting more and always curious as to what was going to happen next. And keep in mind, their episodes are about an hour-ish long per episode. And I believe each of the 4 seasons have 8 episodes to them, I think. My favorite characters were Penelope and Eloise. They're very different and they're very good friends. They're very cute. And I loved Eloise right off the bat because she's quirky and spunky and very much herself, not letting people push her around or force her to be a certain way, right? And I'm inspired by that because I can be a people pleaser, but I'm also kind of spunky, quirky in my own light as well. Now, Penelope is a writer. She loves words, loves writing, loves talking, but she starts very quiet and still in the beginning, and she turns into a very confident character, which is very inspiring in her own way as well. And so I like both of them for different reasons, and I just think they're the best characters. There is lots of sex and intimacy and butts and buns and boobs and boobies. In especially the first season, I feel like there was a lot of that thrown in there. And then some of the other seasons were different. They kind of tapered it down. They were a little bit more calm and modest, right? So a lot of butts and boobs. But I feel like the first season was, whoa, like a lot. Like I almost turned away. I was like, do I really want to watch this? But it is very interesting. The storyline is very engaging, so I couldn't stop. I love that they showed a very curvy girl, and that was Penelope. She's big-breasted. She has beautiful curves. I'm very flat-chested, and I've been scrawny for a lot of my young and adult life, so I've never experienced that end of things, and I thought it was really cool, the variety of the show, and I'll get to that, but it starts with Penelope's body shape being short and curvy, and I love that they included her as a main character, a strong female lead, because people need to be more accepting of all body types. Everybody and every body is different, okay? And everybody deserves respect and deserves to feel beautiful. And I love how they highlighted her body. So there was a lady without an arm. I think there was a person in a wheelchair at one point, or crutches or something. I loved that they were including disabilities. They were including whatever you want to call it. I don't know what an arm loss would be considered, if that's qualified as a disability, if you would count it as such, or if it has a different name. I don't know what you would call that. Not disabled, but you know what I'm trying to say. I just love that. So let's get into that part. So it's the people, the diversity, and the inclusion. They had like every race, every sexuality. They were very upfront with diversity. They were very welcoming and inviting for differences in people. And there was really no slavery involved. Take into account, Bridgerton takes place in like the 1800s. So that era. And that's my favorite era in American history. I just think it's very interesting, the progression of the United States and this era taking place in the UK, right? It was very different than years ago when it was actually happening, because there were blacks and Asians and every race involved, and they were in different classes. They weren't all shunned to be slaves, right? So there was more respect towards different races and cultures, which I thought was really beautiful. And the romance I talked about, the butts and buns, you know, the body being on show per se, a lot of naked, nudity, whatever. I'm not really offended by it. If there's a lot of it, I get kind of uncomfy. But it is just a body and we all have one, you know what I mean? So that's not bad. But the magic, okay, the magic of Bridgerton, this is going into the next thing, the colors and the beauty. It is so well done. It is so light and bright and airy and free. It is very pleasing to the eye. It is a beautiful storyline, but also it is beautifully done. The styles of clothes, they're inspired by old-fashioned styles, but they're amplified. They are even more so. They're more intense, more dramatic. The colors are more vibrant. The styles are more out there. And it's stunning, like the frills and the florals and the patterns, you know, like it is a fashionista's dream to watch because I would love to have my own clothing line. But seeing that was super, super cool. I've never seen a show so different than its era, but also very complimentary of it too, if that makes sense. So that was cool. The music, this was cool. They played so many familiar and modern songs. I'm talking of like our generation, my generation, my parents' generation, beautiful classics, beautiful new ones, and they're taking them, there was even a Taylor Swift song, they're taking the beat and they're spicing it up and they're making it seem more old-fashioned, if that makes sense. So they're taking elements of today's artwork in music and they're combining them with the light and bright breeze of long ago. Does that make sense? So talked about the style, the colors and the beauty, the people, the diversity and the inclusion, the romance and the magic of the storyline, the music, it was familiar with the twist. It's the time period, one of my favorites. So, yeah, I think that's my review, my overall review and synopsis. Very impressed with the show. Love to see what comes next, what's new. And I am really behind on this show. I mean, this is the 4th season that I just finished. And I just started watching it this year, March of 2026. I've heard about it. I've just been watching and doing other things. I'm a YouTube girl. When I'm free or bored, I go to YouTube instead. I make my own content or I watch other people's. I'm not a person who goes to a TV show that often. I'm more of a movie person if I do that. So I just don't get around to watching shows and becoming enthralled enough to sit and watch the whole season. So yes, Bridgerton got me and I loved it. I really did. I would honestly say it's a 9 out of 10. I would say 10 out of 10, but I think they could have described, and they did describe it a little bit, especially the episode that I just watched. They could have described the race, the inclusion.
I'm talking about sexuality as an example.
A little bit differently. I like how they did, but I feel like it wasn't in depth enough. And I'm very conservative. I'm a conservative person. I'm not a liberal. I'm not on the left. I'm very conservative in my values, but I do appreciate the art of sharing diversity. Even if I don't necessarily agree with it or live it or practice it, if it's not a part of my life, it's not the end of the world. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not so easily offended by other people. I just choose not to live that way, right? So I do like how broad it was in engulfing everyone. And there was a little bit of everything to this show. And I think there's something that everyone can learn from and enjoy. And yeah, it was just really pretty to watch. So I thought it was cool. Okay, I'm going to go now. And not watch another show and not pick my face. We're not doing that.